Hey guys, this is Fang/VA here coming at you with a new video. And like I said in my community post, the reason why there was no video this week, well, two videos this week previously, which normally Mondays would have been my comment dub and Thursdays would have been my reaction video, is because there's been a lot of states have been getting a lot of storms. My state has been hit with some storms. Um, where Babe lives has been getting the brunt of it, it seems like.
Oh,
Uh,
majorly the blunt of it.
and her power went out, and her freaking internet went out at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
The power went back on, which is probably a good thing because
It was
humidity and
hot.
heat. And then finally today, her internet came back on. So yeah,
Ta-da!
and because of that, we're going to be doing a bit of a I guess a bit of a double video, having two things we're going to be discussing. So, yeah, if you're new here, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure to set the bell icon to all, and let's get started with topic number one. What do you want to start with?
I mean, we could start with the one you said first, which would be
Okay.
how we got Sonic Adventure 2.
So, anyways, right, everyone knows that to many Sonic fans, of course, there are those weirdos in the fandom that now says that, you know, SA2 hasn't aged all that, hasn't aged all that well.
Yeah.
But those people are really just a small part of the fan base. Sonic Adventure 2, to a lot of Sonic fans, is still the pinnacle of 3D Sonic games. I mean, to many people, Sonic Adventure 2 was the last good Sonic game. Even though that we, even though I disagree with that statement, there are some fans that do believe that.
Yeah.
Um, and I've actually been playing it on my Xbox. I'm actually currently getting every single A rank and emblem, so it's actually been going well.
Which he's progressing really good at.
hmm So I we just decided, why don't we discuss how we got Sonic Adventure 2? So let's start with you, babe.
With me, if I am remembering correctly, because at the time we had already had a GameCube. If I remember this correctly, it's probably when GameStop first came into my town,
hmm
is when we got Sonic Adventure 2. Because they had a copy
Were,
there and we immediately bought it.
were you aware of it?
I was aware of it. I wasn't available to get it when it first came out, which I would have been able to get it at Walmart.
hmm
But yeah, we didn't get it until GameStop came into town and we was just like, oh, Sonic Adventure 2, let's grab that real quick.
Okay. Did you have any prior experience with Sonic Adventure 2? Like,
Like
did
if I
you
played the first one.
no like no like did you have any like did you ever watch someone play it? Did you play a demo of it at a kiosk at Walmart or GameStop?
Sad. I think I did at Walmart with the demo
Remember
thing.
remember those?
I miss those. I
I do
miss them
too.
so much.
Um so I'm gonna assume, was this when it first came out? Like around the time it first came
I
out,
think it
or
was around the time or a little bit after it first came out.
okay, was your copy the one with the black label, or was it with the player's choice yellow label?
It was the black label.
Okay, yeah. So you got it when, dang. You still have it?
I still have the case around here somewhere, but I can probably find a picture of it on the internet and put it in the
Um,
video.
Well, no. I'm just asking it because
Oh, yeah, I still
that
have
version of
it.
that game, if you go on eBay, it can fetch some interesting prices.
I am not surprised by that, and if you guys hear coughing in the background, I apologize. That's my dad.
Uh, so go on with your story.
But I remember when we first got home, and I was wanting to play it first because I was the one that played Sonic games more than my nephew.
Hmm.
And at the time, me and him had to share consoles. So we kind of fought over who would get to play the game first. Because all he was interested in, legit, was the Chow at the time. And then there's me who's interested in not only just the Chow, but the story.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are Sonic fans nowadays. Actually, I don't even know if I could consider them Sonic fans.
That just wants the Chow
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah, there's one of the shot stuff. I mean, if you go back to one of my older videos, there's a little comment, which I'm not
Isn't
shaming this
it?
person. I believe it's the one to where I basically explained why there wasn't going to be a Shao Garden
Yeah, in Sonic Frontiers. Yeah, I was about to say, was it that video?
And someone commented down below about that, basically that if there's no Shao Garden, they're not going to pick up Sonic Frontiers. And I made a response to that video. Actually, no, I think it might have been that video where I basically said that if you're buying a Sonic game for the Chow, I forgot how I worded it, but I do know I remember that,
Yeah.
if you're buying a Sonic game for that blue hedgehog on the packaging, anything else is just a cherry on top.
It's a
of
cherry on
Sundae.
top. Though, there's another video we probably will do next week that deals with what you was wanting in Sonic Frontiers 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say much on that because I want you guys to experience that firsthand, but I agree with everything that you said in our server. Anyways,
I mean, but like, I know that now for me, like, I know that some people would probably take me talking about this and say that, oh well, he's not a fan of the Chow Garden. I am a fan of the Chow Garden mode especially in Sonic Adventure 2.
oh yeah.
I think that it's really is a fun way to keep playing Sonic Adventure 2, especially if you're trying to get all the emblems, because the Chow Garden is required, a part of that. I would love if they brought back the Chow. I love the Chow. I freaking have a Dark Chow plushie, for heaven's sake. Thank.
Hi.
I mean, I want them to make official Sonic Chow plushies and Shadow Chow plushies and Tails Chow plushies.
Especially the Shadow Chow one with our running gag on Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, if they made a freaking official Shadow Chow plushie, I could legit do some skits
with
and
Gigi.
have Gigi dub the Shadow Chow plush.
It would be hilarious. He even has a voice for his Shadow Chow voice, and it's adorable. I know he would kill me for that, but it is. It's cute.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that. But, anyways, continue.
But yeah, we fought over who was gonna play it first, and luckily, Mom figured out. God bless her soul. Had figured out she looked at my nephew and she's like, well, let her play first since she knows I love playing Sonic games ever since I was 3. And he finally agreed to let me play, and he went and did something else. I don't know what he went to go do. So I'm sitting here playing it for a bit and stuff, and I'm sitting here going, okay, as soon as it's like, pick which story, Hero or Dark, I get the body's feeling Hero should be first. I'm playing Hero story first. So that's pretty much how my journey through the story mode started.
So what was your first reaction when you got to that this first cutscene of the,
Oh, Sonic
it's
is...
Alpha 2. It's like,
I immediately started... It's like, I know nothing about Shadow yet. I immediately liked it.
No. Not the first cutscene of Shadow. The first cutscene they introduced Sonic Adventure 2 to the world when Sonic breaks out of the helicopter.
Oh my god. I was confused. I'm like, why is he under arrest? Like, I was so confused about that. I'm like, what did he do to get arrested by gun?
No food or movies. I'm
out of here.
Like money back.
And then you start off with City Escape, so...
Yeah, I mean, that level is like, there's two levels you think of that encapsulates, I hope I didn't butcher that word.
You didn't. You're good.
That perfectly sums up Sonic the Hedgehog. It's either people think of Green Hill or City Escape.
Yep.
I think Green Hill really represents, like, how good the classic Sonic level designs were back then. And I think City Escape was the perfect starting level when it comes to 3D games. Now, some people may say, what about Emerald Coast from the first Sonic Adventure? I mean, that level is good too, but
yeah,
City Escape has everything. You start out you
start out on a board
on the street.
Yeah, from a piece of the plane you just jumped out of.
Going on ramps, trying to get those extra goodies, and then you jump off it, and then you're now doing the typical Sonic stuff.
Yeah. And then you get near the end.
And then... What was your first reaction to seeing the truck?
I kind of paused for a split second because I wasn't expecting it. And my brain was just going like, okay, so we went from skateboarding with a piece of a helicopter to running around like you normally do as Sonic, the Sonic gameplay with the platforming and everything, to being chased by a giant truck.
That may or may not be driven by Shadow.
Yeah, that may or may not be driven by Shadow.
That's a joke, you guys. We both know that. Shadow was not a power gun.
We make a joke about that because it's kind of funny how violent that person was in the truck towards Sonic.
And go, Lord, in some generations, they went even more bonkers with
oh my god, saw blades and the rockets. Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm officially headcanoning. Shadow's driving that truck. It's so aggressive.
Shadow may not be driving the truck in Sonic Adventure 2, but he's definitely driving the truck in Generations.
Definitely, because yeah. But my reaction to that was that. And then I'm pausing and me immediately going, okay, I gotta make sure not to let that thing hit me, because if it does, I get the feeling I either insta-die or I'm gonna lose a lot of rings, not be able to re-get them, because I didn't have the electric shield. I was panicking.
So what was your reaction to seeing the ultimate rifle? Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong Shadow voice. If I could do the voice, good Lord, I haven't done my David Humphrey style voice on camera before.
It's okay, you don't have to do your David Humphrey. What if you don't want to?
I'm Shadow, the Hedgehog. I probably virtual you guys. I can do a lot better than that. But anyways,
it's his first time to. At first, I wanted to hit him because I was hearing the conversation. And so I was like, oh, they've mistaken me for the likes of you. I'm like, wait a minute. Shadow got arrested because of this guy?
Wait, did you say Shadow got arrested because of this guy?
I meant Sonic. If I said Shadow, I meant Sonic.
Who the heck do you think you are, Amy Rose?
No. Brain go burr. I am currently still in sickness while also recovering from said sickness. I know. I'm just explaining it to the people. Um, and I wanted to hit him, but at the same time, once he did the whole chaos control thing, he's like, I am Shadow, the world's ultimate life form. There's no time for games. Farewell. And then just chaos controls away. I'm like, I suddenly like this guy. I wanted to hit him a few minutes ago, but now I like him.
My name is Shadow. I am the world's ultimate life form. There's no time for games. Farewell.
And so, as Sonic Adventure 2 is such an iconic game, there's a lot of lines that's easy to remember.
Yeah, there is this the whole, hey, that blue hedgehog again of all places.
I found you, Faker!
I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself to me? Ha! You're not even good enough to be my fate. I'll make you eat those words.
Yeah!
Now here's the thing. If any true Sonic fan, if any of you get this reference, you're officially earn my respect.
Oh, are you
I'll make you eat those words, grabs the subtitle, starts shoving it down Shadow's face.
Ah, yes, the good old Sonic short! Oh, we still gotta have Shadow react to the 8th one that's gonna be coming out.
Oh, that's the plan.
I know. You gotta continue the legacy. But anyways, how did you get your copy?
Well, I'll get to mine. There's one more question. What was your reaction to the last story?
I think you already know, but to let your viewers know. The fact that the last story, they just, like, was tossing out all this lore. And it's like, okay, so we're learning more about Shadow, but we're also learning more about this other project that Gerald was working on, which was the Bio Wizard. And then you got Shadow not wanting to do anything at first until Amy gives that big, very heartful speech that she gives. And then he suddenly remembers the promise he made to Maria and cried. You see the man cry. Shed one tear. I call it crying, regardless. And just that whole story of the last story killed me. Especially the ending. Like, the legit ending after they, like, get the arc backwards, not plummeting towards the earth and Shadow's falling to the earth and saying what he was saying as he was falling. I'm just sitting here,
Maria, this is what you wanted, right? This is the promise I made to you.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here going, I cried.
And of course, there's the whole scene after that where, like, Sonic walks in and you can instantly tell. And then Rouge asks, "Where's Shadow?" And then Sonic just literally lowers his head and shakes his head.
Yeah, it gives Rouge Shadow's inhibitor ring. And
one moment that stood out to me during that last scene is when Amy comes up. You know what's the matter, Sonic? Sonic instantly puts on that happy-go-lucky face, and then he goes, "Come on, let's go home to the planet that is cool and as blue as me." And then he is the last one to leave, and he turns back. And he says, "Sound out, Shadow the Hedgehog."
And the funny story for those that don't know, because I know we've talked about this before, but I'm going to put it in here anyway since we're talking about SA2. Funny story! They was never going to bring Shadow back after SA2.
To be honest with you, see, I love Shadow so much as a character, and I'm glad they brought him back, but there's this part of me that's like, the Sonic games would have been even more... the Sonic games would have been even more interesting if he stayed dead, because maybe that would give Sonic even more of a boost to keep protecting the Earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, let me just paraphrase this. I'm glad they brought Shadow back.
Oh, yeah, same here. Bro. SA2 killed me.
Anyways, in order for me to talk about how I got Sonic Adventure 2, there's all the story that segues up to it. Now, obviously, everyone knows that my first experience with Sonic was the Sonic OVA. That's what made me a fan. It's also why Metal Sonic became one of my favorite villains of Sonic. And of course, what happens in Heroes doesn't help that fact either, because Neo Metal is just so freaking cool.
Neo Metal is.
But I remember watching my best friend play Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on his GameCube, and I can clear as day I remember watching him play it. It was the summertime, and he's playing City Escape. And it's because of that game that I wanted a GameCube.
That is true.
And I wanted to get into Sonic. The thing is that I didn't have any games, and lo and behold, I found out that Sonic Heroes is coming to the PS2. Now, granted, I know that the PS2 version of Heroes is considered the worst version. But I had to, get the game for the platform I had, and at the time we had a PS2. Well, the problem was that we moved from the house I grew up in from age 1 to age something. I can't math right now.
It's okay, dear.
And we moved to my older brother's house, and we had all our stuff in his garage, and we had the PS2 packed. Because it was going to be a temporary stay. We weren't going to be staying there, so what was the point of digging after that? Well, basically what happened was, I got Sonic Heroes, and basically, I wanted to play the game, so we would have to dig out the PS2, or wherever we had it. But, there was that little thing of, well, I want a GameCube, and I kept saying that to my parents. I want a GameCube. So, fast forward to my first birthday in this house that I'm currently living in. I got I'm gonna flex a little bit here.
Oh, somebody about to flex.
I got the Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness limited edition GameCube bundle, where it has Shadow Rubia on the top of the GameCube.
Still a little jelly over that, by the way.
And so the games I got was XD Gale of Darkness. I also got Sonic Gems Collection. I forgot what others I got. There might have been one more, but there was no Sonic Adventure 2. And they told me that they couldn't find it.
Oh.
Well, fast forward. I ended up getting, I can't remember the time on their events. I think I got Sonic Adventure 1 before SA2. And I think I got Sonic Mega Collection before SA2 as well. But a local Toys R Us was closing down. I come home from staying at my best friend's place, and if I remember how it went, my mom either told me to go look on the dining room table, or she told me, well, I walked over to the dining room table. They got a double pack of Sonic Adventure 2 on one side, and flip it over, and it was Sonic Heroes.
Oh.
And I was really, really, really happy that they found it. And if I remember, I think I even asked, like, how did you guys find it? And they told me that the Toys R Us in a town nearby was closing down. So that's how I got Sonic Adventure 2, and of course, the experience in the game was just amazing.
Well, I'm glad you had a good experience with it, though.
Oh yeah, I did. Like,
I mean, I did too, besides the part of me and my nephew fighting over it, but...
And one of the greatest things that happened was that because of my best friend teaching me how the Child Garden worked, was that I would always ask him questions about the Child Garden because I tried raising a Sonic Child. And, obviously with raising Child game, it's like science.
It is. It really is.
If you want a Sonic Child, you have to raise a normal Child up. And I think you have to give it equal attention with
Yeah, I
both
think so too.
Hero and Dark.
I forgot how that works, but yeah, I think you're on the right path there.
Yeah, you had to be neutral with both Hero and Dark characters. Because obviously with it being a neutral run Child, it has to stay neutral. But man, that game to me is like a very important part of my Sonic fandom. Because that was the first Sonic game I ever saw in front of me. And I'm sorry, for all you people that say that Sonic Adventure 2 has aged poorly, maybe some aspects maybe have, maybe the mech missions aren't that good any compared to when it first came out, or maybe the Emerald missions has become mature, but you know what? That game, the whole thing, it's so fun still, even in Triumph 24.
Oh, yeah.
And, that's the game that gave us the iconic soap shoes for Sonic, which, in my opinion, I came to the conclusion that I think the soap shoes fits modern Sonic a lot better than its classic shoes does.
I can agree with you on that one.
So yeah, that's the story of how we got Sonic Adventure 2. Now we get to the what is probably going to make me roll my eyes, hit my head on the desk. 16 things you didn't know about Knuckles, the Kid and Sonic, done by the gamer. Alright.
Okay, I'll start reading. Give me a second. Get a little bit of a sippy sip there. Back in 1994, everybody knew what was cool. Sonic the Blur, the fastest hedgehog on the planet, was undeniably cool. But with the release of Sonic 3, a newcomer arrived who would redefine cool in the Sonic universe forever, Knuckles the Echidna. He was red, he was mean, he had those cool spikes on his knuckles, hence the name. Today, Knuckles is still a beloved character in the Sonic franchise, arguably even as popular as the series' titular character. Let's take a look at some little known facts about this speedy red mammal and get to know the Red Rusher just a little bit better. Oh no. 16. Knuckles has an affinity for the earth element. The cast of Sonic characters doesn't usually possess magic or elemental powers, but Knuckles has always had an affinity for earth. He's amazing at digging and climbing and has no problem lifting or breaking through rocks. However, Knuckles' connection to this element is deeper than it appears. Knuckles was one of the playable characters in the Game Boy Advance game Sonic Battle. In addition to being a strong and heavy fighter, he also has an ability that allows him to throw rocks at opponents. When the skill is assigned to the air, Knuckles is able to call down boulders to strike the ground in front of him through sheer willpower alone. I forgot about that.
I will give him that one. It definitely, because if you think about it right, Tails' element would definitely be electric. Sonic obviously air. Knuckles obviously earth. So yes, that is true. Heavily speaking, I don't really consider any of the other Sonic characters to have. Well, that's hard, right? Because some characters definitely have elemental abilities. I mean,
Oh,
Blaze.
yeah.
I mean, heck, her name is a reference to fire.
Yeah. And then,
So I will.
yeah, she has pyrokinesis.
Yeah. So I will give him that one.
Let's go to number 15. Knuckles has a rarely seen super form. Among all of Sonic's abilities, his power to turn into a golden supersonic by using the Chaos Emeralds is one of his most memorable. When this power was discovered, it was revealed that other characters had also had the power to achieve super forms, Knuckles included. When he uses that power, he becomes Hyper Knuckles. As Hyper Knuckles, the echidna begins flashing a bright platinum color with increased street speed and durability. The thing is that despite how powerful this form is and Knuckles' connection to the emeralds, this form has only ever been seen in Sonic 3, aka Sonic and Knuckles.
Okay, this is where I will say that they really dropped the ball. Is that yes, Knuckles does have a form called Hyper Knuckles, and it's seen in Sonic 8. It's seen in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is something else they got wrong here. That has ever been seen in Sonic 3, aka Sonic and Knuckles. Well, technically, both games combined is called Sonic 3 and Knuckles. They could have just said from Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah, they could have, but didn't.
Knuckles also has a regular super form called Super Knuckles. It's similar to Hyper Knuckles, and that power up shows up in Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic Mania. I'm not sure if it's in Superstars. I think it might. No, I believe it might be. I can't. I need to play more Superstars. And also too, Sonic also has the Hyper form as well, but Hypersonic. So they got this half right.
Yeah, they got it half right. 14. Knuckles has a robot twin. Of all Dr. Eggman's robotic creations, Metal Sonic is easily his most dangerous and most popular. Possessing all the speed and skills of Sonic with the enhanced strength of machinery, Metal Sonic is a constant threat. Consider this, Eggman didn't stop at Sonic and decided to make a robot version of Knuckles called Mecha Knuckles. In the Game Boy Advance game, conveniently named Sonic Advance, characters are all forced to fight what looks like their friend Knuckles. After hitting him a few times, his metallic form is revealed, and he starts shooting missiles out of his chest. It's an intense battle, but there's never been a strong rivalry between Knuckles and his robotic double. This is true. That fight with Mecha Knuckles is crazy in Sonic Advance.
Well, that's where they mess up again, is that Mecha Knuckles was... Well, Metal Knuckles was first seen in Sonic 1. That's the first game that we saw a robotic counterpart of Knuckles. What they said about Sonic Advance was true, and actually what's funny is that the fact that he goes from regular Knuckles to appearing like his Mecha self. I think that's a reference to Mecha Godzilla. Because during the first Godzilla vs. Mecha Godzilla from Mecha 74, he wears a fake Godzilla suit, and then finally he ends up transforming into Mecha Godzilla. So I think the Sonic Advance one was a reference to Mecha Godzilla from the Showa era. But they were so close.
They were so close. Okay, the Punch reference in the movie. When it was revealed that Knuckles was going to be in the Sonic movie sequel, everyone got hyped. He'd be teaming up with Eggman, fighting Sonic, and just showing off his immense strength. After he realizes the true villain, he teams up with Sonic and Tails to come up with the best plan ever, punch Eggman really hard. They succeed with Knuckles punching the evil scientist so hard that the Master Emerald ejects out of his body. Believe it or not, Knuckles did something similar to Super Sonic in Sonic 3 after he arrived at Angel Island, and Knuckles knocked the Chaos Emeralds out of him in the opening scene.
That is correct.
This is true. Which, I still find it funny that Knuckles literally punched the Master Emerald out of Dr.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a good scene.
That was. So, how does Knuckles glide? To those who only know about echidnas from Sonic games, they can't glide through the air. Still, this is one of Knuckles' defining abilities, much like Tails' flying. And like Tails' flying, there's a scientific explanation as how a wingless mammal can glide through the air. The explanation offered is that Knuckles can manipulate airflow that allows him to directionally fall through the air. He does this by trapping air underneath his dreadlocks, which have been described as acting similar to a flight or wingsuit.
Okay, so this is going to be where I'm never going to show I'm not smart, because I probably am. I'm just going to say that I was plead the fifth on this. I'm going to say that it's true or false, so if people have more information on this, or maybe can offer a source if this is true.
Yeah, just put it down below in the comments, please.
Yeah.
Okay, 11. Knuckles is the last of his kind. Ever wonder why you don't see another character like Knuckles speeding around the Sonic universe? The answer is simple. Knuckles is the only remaining descendant of the Knuckles clan, a group of echidnas that lived 4,000 years ago, and what appears in the Sonic games as the Mystic Ruins. The tribe was almost completely wiped out by chaos when... Hackleback? Think I said that right. If I didn't, my bad. The clan's chief tried to steal the Chaos Emeralds and okay, thank you. Chaos Emeralds and Master Emeralds from the Altar of Emeralds. There's a typo there. After this, the remaining members dedicated their lives to protecting the Master Emerald to prevent a future disaster. Eventually, they all died out with the exception of Knuckles. Okay,
so yes, he is the last of his clan. He was not the last of the Echidna. There was obviously the Archie comics have shown there's many more Echidnas. Sonic and the
Dark Brotherhood.
The Hood had Shade and that rival tribe. So yes, he's the last of his tribe of Echidnas, but he's not
the last. Yeah.
Last ever seen Echidna.
No. 10. Knuckles originally spoke with a Jamaican accent. If you look carefully at Knuckles' red, yellow, green shoes, you'll notice they actually resemble the Jamaican flag. This is not by accident, as Knuckles' overall appearance and shoes were modeled to make him a Jamaican character. Not only that, it was originally intended for Knuckles to speak with a Jamaican accent, as if that's not bad enough, Knuckles' original name was actually Dreads, a reference to his dreadlocks. Seems like they made the wiser choice by naming him after those spikes pointed out of his knuckles, though.
Can you fact check this real quick?
This?
Yeah, fact check this.
Okay, let's see. Was Knuckles? How do I ask this? I'll look it up on my phone. That way I don't accidentally stop the recording. Hold on. Was Knuckles the Echidna? Let me make sure I spell this right, because I don't want to. See, the emphasis of the character was to break walls. Knuckles' shoes are based on the colors of the Jamaican flag, and his appearance is overall Jamaican. In fact, he was originally to speak with a Jamaican accent. This is off the wiki.
Okay, I guess it must have been... Okay, I'll just say this, there's just some... We're probably going to do deeper research during the enemy.
Yeah.
Miniature Mizu, you know what to do.
Yes, I know what to do. Knuckles was meant to be just a supporting character. Oh, I like how they have a picture of Boom Knuckles here. Oh, God. Knuckles is arguably the most successful creation of developer Takashi Yuda, who was said in interviews he never intended for Knuckles to be anything more than a supporting character. Of course, if you want a character to just play a supporting role, it's usually a good idea not to design them to be even cooler looking than the main character of the franchise. Everything about Knuckles, his spikes, his speed, and his loader mentality make him one of the slickest game characters of all time. Second Banana? Not a chance.
I mean, if the creator actually said that, then I would imagine that's true.
Yeah. Number 8. Knuckles used to look more like a dinosaur. When Knuckles' character was in development, there were 8 designs for him that were shown to kids to determine which would be their favorite. The one closest to Knuckles we know today was the winner. However, as a result of the popularity of Jurassic Park around this time, one of the other sub-designs was a reptilian dinosaur. Though it wasn't chosen in the end, they did carry over the dinosaur tail to Knuckles' final design. Oh, so that explains his tail then.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't shock me. I mean, Sonic had different designs considered. I mean, there was the bunny one.
The bunny one, yeah.
And then, of course, there's the design that went on to become
Mighty.
Eggman.
Oh, yeah, Eggman, yeah.
So, I would say this is true.
E7. He's very trust. Since he's lived the majority of his life alone, Knuckles isn't really used to dealing with other people, so he assumes the best in people. He's extremely gullible, far too quick to forgive, and a strong believer in second chances. All of this has led to him repeatedly being tricked by Eggman. Almost said attacked. I meant tricked. It makes sense when you think about it. If you don't live around other people, or in this case a kid does, you're going to have a much harder time picking up on social cues and knowing how to read people. Poor Knuckles. Over the years, he's gotten better with it, though.
Yeah, plus, the last game they ever showed that in was the first Sonic Adventure, so...
Yeah.
That's not really part of his character anymore.
He kind of learned after that.
Yeah. The only reason... And you guys better not bring up Sonic Movie 2, is that technically was inspired... That movie was inspired by both Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic 3. So that
so they were following the game...
And plus, it's a different version of Knuckles.
Yeah. It's not the game Knuckles.
Movie Knuckles does not count.
No.
Anyways.
Number 6. Despite his attitude, Knuckles is awkward around women. As was mentioned previously, Knuckles has been a loner most of his life and doesn't have a ton of experience around other people or animals. This manifests itself particularly clearly in his interactions with women, and he's painfully awkward around any of the ones in the Sonic universe like Amy, Blaze, or Rouge.
Especially
Rouge. You really wouldn't think a cool dude like Knuckles would have trouble with the ladies, but hey, the guy's a beginner. Although, he'd probably do a lot better if he just showed them his cool Jamaican shirts.
I don't know. Archie Knuckles had no problem picking up
Julie Sue.
Yep.
He had no issue picking her up.
But yes, that is true.
Yeah, that is true. Poor Knucks. Knuckles is as strong as Sonic is fast. When he's not as fast as Sonic, Knuckles is actually as strong as Sonic is fast. That's pretty remarkable considering Sonic often just appears as a blur. Add to that the fact that Knuckles is pretty fast himself, and you've got one heck of a powerful echidna. Since Sonic's foot speed ranges between Mach 1 to 5, that would mean Knuckles can lift somewhere in the area of 100 to 500 metric tons. Which begs the question, dear reader, do you even lift?
Yes, that's true, because if I remember in Sonic X, I believe that's one of the things that...
Yeah.
That is mentioned. Actually, I think Knuckles... I remember, wasn't there an episode that both of them ended up discussing that whole thing between them?
I think so!
That's another reason why we gotta read this. Anyways.
Number 4. He's a skilled treasure hunter. Knuckles is a top-notch treasure hunter and even possesses something called treasure sense, which is not unlike Spider-Man's spider sense, only for, well, you know, treasure. In the Sonic universe, Knuckles is known as quite possibly the best treasure hunter on the planet. He's able to sniff out nearby treasure and dig it out of the ground at lightning speeds. This is particularly useful when looking for emerald shards or other shiny goodies.
That is true. Funny enough, that is, if we're going to include the Sonic OVA and Sonic X in the reference, he will do treasure hunting as a bit of a hobby. That's basically one of his hobbies. That's probably something that he does to take a break from guarding the Master Emerald.
Yeah. Knuckles is an expert swimmer. Tiny, calm down, you're fine. Tiny's whining at me because he's wanting back up in my lap. Wait. Sonic has always felt out of place in the water. His speed diminishes, and suddenly you're spending most of your time looking for air bubbles instead of rushing forward into the unknown. Not Knuckles, though. The Red Echidna is a masterful swimmer, a skill that goes along with his love of treasure hunting. He's able to swim deep and maintain a level of speed Sonic can only dream of. Long story short, if you're having a pool party, maybe just lose Sonic's invite in the mail.
I would imagine that's true.
I mean, considering he doesn't really have that much issues when you're doing that in Sonic Adventure 2.
Although, technically speaking, Sonic should have been able to swim, because Hedgehogs can swim, but Yuji Nako was under the impression that Hedgehogs don't swim, so basically by lore standards, Sonic never learned how to swim. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Shadow probably knows how to swim.
He probably doesn't know how to swim.
He originally had the Nike swoosh on his chest. Wait, he had the Nike check mark on his chest? Do you know that crescent moon on Knuckles' chest? Well, imagine if it was a little bit more swooshy, like a swoosh. Got it? Okay, now imagine it's the Nike swoosh. Because that almost happened. Sega had a deal in place with Nike to put their logo on Knuckles' chest, which would have made for some seriously next level in-game advertising, pun intended. Imagine if this had gone through and Knuckles spent his entire in-game life joined at the hip with Nike. It was kind of gross, although we bet he would have appreciated the free shoe.
Let me tell you this much. Once that deal ended between them, they would have had to came up with a different design for Knuckles' crescent thing on his chest.
Crescent moon.
Yeah. And who knows, it may not have been the crescent moon that they would have changed it to.
True,
It could have been something else.
Number 1, the Grapest Echidna. They used the dang mean Langlet from Boom. According to the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 manual, Knuckles does have a favorite food, and if you couldn't guess from this entry's terrible title, it's grapes. Honestly, it's just nice to see a member of the Sonic team actually eat something healthy, unlike chili dogs. Seriously, how does Sonic rank after eating those things? At least one member of the crew got the memo about eating clean.
Well, Sonic runs off the calories.
Yeah, that's probably why.
But yes, that is true. Now, obviously, I'm not sure if they've ever mentioned this in the games, but considering, because I'm going to have to look up the manuals for both the Japanese and the American Sonic 3, but sometimes the American side of Sonic team will come up with new lore for Sonic that doesn't exist in Japan, so all in like Morbius for example, stuff like that. So, but I would imagine at this point Knuckles having grapes as a favorite food is canon in all media, because they end up making Sonic's loves for chili dogs canon.
This is true. Well, that's number 1.
Well, overall, this article wasn't that bad.
It wasn't as bad as the Shadow Game Rap one.
Yeah. There was a few problems that they should definitely fix if they re-edit this again.
I agree.
But overall, they did a good job. So, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this long video. I figured I would upload a long video this time to make it up for no videos this week.
That's understandable.
So, yeah. I hope you all have a good rest of your week and weekend. I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Later, guys.
Bye, guys.